Okay, on number 28, we have our cosine of 4 pi over 3. So when I'm looking at 4 pi over 3, I'm going to actually look at my unit circle. So here's my 0 pi, and that's going to be 3 pi over 3. So that means our 4 pi over 3 is going to go where? Right in between. So 4 pi over 3 is somewhere over here. Oh, I'm kind of spilling the work over. Okay? So let's kind of look at this triangle over here. Here's my right angle. Between 3 and 4, would you agree that our difference is 1 pi? Yes? So I'm going to write 1 pi over 3, pi over 3. And if I were to go back to my notes, we had our special right triangle. So we had pi over 3, opposite of that is radical 3, hypotenuse is 2, and then my other leg is 1. Do we all see that? Okay? So that means our pi over 3 is going to be radical 3. And I went down. Because I went down, do I leave that as a positive? That should be negative. And that's going to be 1, specifically negative 1, and then we have root 2. And our cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. From this angle, would you agree my adjacent is negative 1? Yes? And then our hypotenuse is what number? Oh, I made a mistake. Should it be at radical 2? No. It should just be 2. Anyone catch that? Yeah. Okay? So let's go to our number, our unit circle. And I'm going to go to 4 pi over 3. Would y'all agree 4 pi over 3 is the same thing as 8 pi over 6? So give me an order pair. And our cosine that we found was our x value. Cosine is the x value. It's going to be 1/2, negative 1/2 specifically. Now let's find the other part. I want you to point to that number. Everybody point. Slide it to the right. Does everyone see how I'm transferring this? Slide it to the right. So when I'm sliding that to the right, it's not going to be negative 1/2 anymore, but positive half. The y value, we don't know yet. Okay, now point to the 1/2 right here. Let's slide it up. Do y'all see I'm getting to 2 pi over 6? So on that one, am I going to change the 1/2 to a negative? No, it's in quadrant 1. Okay, point to it again. Slide it over. What happens to my positive half? Becomes negative. So when you know one, you know the rest of them. Are we good with that one? Okay, moving on. Can I translate that to right here as well? At 120, we have negative 1/2. Oh, let's leave that room for the sign piece. At 60, I have 1/2. And then I have 1/2 over here with a negative. And then we have positive 1/2. So whatever you do on the radian, you can mimic that on the degree mode. If that makes sense, give me a thumbs up. Good? All right. So now moving on to our next one, let's do our sine. Number 25. So 25, we have 7 pi over 2. Okay, pi over 2 on the unit circle. How many degrees was pi over 2? Look at it. Pi over 2 was how many degrees? 90 degrees. So I'm going to write on here pi over 2. And I'm going to write 0 pi. And just because of teaching purpose, I'm going to put a 1. So I need all eyes on the board. We're going to count together. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Do I get to 7? So this right here is 7 pi over 2. Now we're on the quadrantal, so on your notes, we wrote something. And in case you're like, what is she talking about? Did we write that value right here? So we have 0, negative 1. And sine is the x value or the y value? The y value. What is the y value right here? The answer is negative 1 and done. And we already have that graphed on there, so I don't need to worry about the unit circle for that part. Okay, now let's go on to 21. The extra talking needs to stop. That kid needs to stop. I'm recording. All right, number 21. We're looking at pi over 3. Let's go ahead and make our pi over 3. So here's our pi over 3. That's a box, by the way. Pi over 3. Was pi over 3 30 degrees or 60 degrees? Go back to your notes. 60. So opposite of 60 was radical 3. And our hypotenuse is 2. And then we have our 1. All right, Isaac. If tangent is opposite over adjacent, cotangent is what over what? Flip them over. Adjacent over the what? Opposite. So from this angle, my adjacent is 1. And opposite is radical 3. Do we like the radical on the bottom?
Yeah.
No, we want to rationalize. So let's recall rationalize in case you forgot. Radical 3 and radical 3 on the top. What happens to my bottom? It becomes a whole number of what? 3. And then we have radical 3. Oh. And that will be our final answer. Okay, everyone good with that one? Okay, now let's go to number 22. Now we're looking at 30 degrees. Go ahead and draw me a triangle. Here's my 30. So opposite of 30 is how many? 1. Root 3 and what? Good, 1 root 3 and 2. So tangent is opposite over adjacent. So my opposite is 1. And then adjacent is radical 3. Do we notice it's basically the same value as the one right above? Yeah. So since I already rationalized, are we okay if I simply write out radical 3 over 3? Yes. Yep. Now let's go to number 24. Okay, on number 24, we have 9 pi over 2. It's going to be the same thing as 25 or similar. Draw me a quadrant. 0 pi, 1 pi over 2. Okay, let's go in circles. Everyone point at 0. Okay, let's count up to 9 in circle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 pi over 2 is going to land exactly in the same position as pi over 2. What was the order pair of that value? 0, comma 1. And secant is hypotenuse over the what? Look at your notes. Secant is hypotenuse over adjacent. Okay, going back to our notes. Eyes on me real quick. So x is cosine. X is also adjacent. Y is sine. Y is also opposite. So in this case, our hypotenuse of that is always 1. And our adjacent happens to be our 0. Can I divide it by 0? No. What do we call that back in algebra? Undefined. Okay, our last one with me. Let's go to number 29. Okay, let's draw my little line here because I need extra room. Okay, my last one. That kid needs to listen. All right, draw me the quadrant again. Here's 0 pi. Here's 1 pi. So we're going to count together. So watch the way I count it. Eyes on me real quick. Eyes on the board. Y'all ready? If this is 0, would y'all agree that's 1 pi? If I go around, that's 2 pi, correct? 3 pi, 4, 5, 6, 7 goes back to 1 pi. So let's go ahead and put, this is negative 1 comma 0. And cosecant is hypotenuse over the what? Opposite. So my hypotenuse on the quadrantal is always 1. And if you forgot, we wrote hypotenuse is always 1. And then I need my opposite. Opposite is our y value. What's my y value here? 0. So this answer again becomes undefined.